Hey there, it's me, Nate, and today we're going to be talking about what I plan to read for the month of April, my April TBR. I'm trying out this different structure for the month of April, so instead of the weekly what I'm reading videos, we're going to be doing this. I'm going to have this April TBR video, and towards the end of April, I'm going to do like a kind of like the month of April recap, and then see how that works out. Just trying something different to see if this works better than having the weekly videos. That way it's not spread out across like 4 or 5 videos for the month. It's just like, here's a big video at the beginning of the month, and then there's the one at the end, and so on. So I want to see how this works out. I might do this for April and May, for a couple months to see how it works out, if this works for the channel better. And works for you guys better, if you like this more. So let me know your thoughts, as it goes along. So first off, let me start off about where in my last What I'm Reading video, my plans were. So last time I talked about reading Oryx and Crake by Margaret Atwood. This is the first book in her Mad Adam trilogy. And by the way, while I'm thinking about it, this is actually my second attempt at this video. I was recording it, I finished it, I was like looking at the footage, and I was like, why is this so orangey? It looks like I'm recording in a bar in like Jersey Shore or something like that. So if this ends up being really orange still, we're just going to have to ride with it for this video, and then maybe next time I can look into color balance and that kind of stuff. But I'm already late on this one, and I want to just, hurry up and get this out. So if it ends up being rough, it's probably something funky going off my camera, and I apologize, and I'll try to figure it out for the next video. But back to Oryx and Crake. So this is a dystopian future sci-fi novel, and how to describe it. So this is like in a future where it's like hyper-capitalist society where companies like kind of like run and control the world. At least from what it's shown to the main character, Jimmy, in the book. And this is how the society is kind of ran. And Jimmy is seemingly, as far as he knows, maybe the only human survivor left in this world after Oryx and Crake have died. And I didn't get super far in this. I found I couldn't really get into the character of Jimmy or Snowman in this book. It's kind of off-putting, Jimmy. I would describe this, because I had this thought when I was reading the book. This is if this book is as if the main character from Catcher in the Rye was thrown as like a dystopian or post-apocalyptic future. So if you like Catcher in the Rye, you might like Oryx and Crake. I don't. I really don't like Catcher in the Rye. I didn't get super far in this, so I don't have like a really strong opinion on Oryx and Crake, but I didn't really care for it, so I just DNF'd it and moved on. Then after that, I actually read Blood of Elves by Andrzej Sapkowski, and with this awesome artwork on the cover of the dust jacket. And this is the third book in the Witcher series. This I just posted my review of this yesterday, and I'll have a link somewhere on the screen where you can click and just go to the video. I say yesterday, since I'm already late on this, I might end up putting this video out for Saturday morning. Yeah, that might be better, since I'm already late. I think I'll just have this video go out Saturday, so you can watch it on your weekend. And but back to Blood of Elves. I thought it was a solid book. You can watch my review for my full thoughts and see whether you agree or not. But I liked it, and I'm going to continue on with the series. So now we move on to the TBR section of the video. What my reads are for April, what I'm planning to read at least for April. So I've picked out, let's see, 5 books for the month of April I would like to read. One thing I've started doing is after watching an episode of the Talking Story YouTube channel with John and Jacob Minton, it's really good. There's a great channel. You should definitely watch them after you've watched my stuff. But their videos are really good. Their content's really good. And John Minton was talking about how he tries to read at least 100 pages a day. And I was like, thinking, I was like, I think I can do that. I think I can commit to at least 100 pages a day. So if I do that, I should be able to get through books faster. But I don't want to overgauge, myself, overestimate what I can get read in a month. So I'm just gonna settle for 5, 1 book a week for the month of April. For my current schedule. So, starting off, we have first off, Light of the Jedi by Charles Soule. This is a Star Wars novel and the first book in the High Republic series. 200 years before the original trilogy is the High Republic, and the High Republic is this golden era for the Republic. There's no major war or conflict, but all of a sudden one day, the hyperspace lanes in the galaxy, something is happening, and this ship that's going through hyperspace, some kind of something happens to it, and it basically gets ripped to shreds in hyperspace. And when the bits of the torn up ship come out of hyperspace, they are basically hyperspace propelled rockets and bombs that are hitting planets and moons and space stations and other ships across the galaxy. So all the thousands of Jedi across the galaxy mobilize to and work together to defend the people of the galaxy from this mystery and anomaly of what's happening in the hyperspace lanes. And that's the story of Light of the Jedi. It kicks off the High Republic storyline, showing what the Jedi were at this seemingly golden age and height of their power, and the bravery and heroism of them. It's I've read it. This is actually a reread for me, and it really shows off the heroism and bravery of the Jedi. So if you really like a fast-paced, action-filled story of Star Wars characters, this is really it. So even if you're just a Star Wars fan who beyond the movies hasn't really watched or read anything outside of the main movies, I think you could read the High Republic stuff. So even I've only read a couple of High Republic books. I plan on rereading all of them before continuing on to the ones I haven't read yet. But I would just say if you're interested in reading Star Wars canon books, and you've only seen the movies, I think you could just jump straight into the High Republic and have a good time. So that'll be my first read of April. Then another Star Wars novel is Force Collector by Kevin Shinnick. And this takes place during the sequel era of Star Wars. So during the Force Awakens era, I think it's around that time frame. And Force Collector is not about a Jedi or a Sith or a rogue. What is it called? A smuggler like Han Solo or anything like that, or a bounty hunter. It's about this teenage boy, and he is seemingly like force sensitive, because when he picks up objects, he kind of like sees like the memories and stories and like the histories of things. So as far as I know about it, I think he kind of sets off on this adventure and like learns about like where these stories and these and these histories of these things that he's seeing is guiding him towards like some kind of greater purpose. So that's what Force Collector is about. Then next up, I am going to be returning to Orson Scott Card with Speaker of the Dead. And this is the sequel to Ender's Game. This is the second book in the Ender Saga by publication order. I read series and books by publication order. That's why I'm not jumping to something like Ender's Shadow, because I know a lot of people read Ender's Game and they go to Ender's Shadow with like Bean and Peter and all of that. No, I'm reading things in publication order. So as far as Ender's Games going, I'm going to read the entire Ender's Quartet, which is Ender's Game, Speaker of the Dead, Xenocide, and Children of the Mind, I think, before I read Ender's Shadow. And I've actually read Speaker for the Dead before. This is another reread for me. This is for Ender. It's like later in his life after Ender's Game, but for the universe, it's like hundreds of years later, because the way the time displacement works with light speed travel, it's like, so whenever you travel to like another planet, the way time works basically, so from him and Valentine after Ender's Game, they left, and like they've been like going from planet to planet, and only spending like months to years on each place they go to, and by the time they arrive to the next planet, maybe years or decades have passed, and so they've been like, in the history of like the universe, it's been like hundreds of years, I believe, since the story of Ender's Game. But for Ender and Valentine, I think it's been maybe like a decade or two. Because I think in this, Ender, in Speaker of the Dead, I think Ender is like in his 20s, or maybe like his early 30s or something like that. At the youngest, or at the oldest, I mean. But Speaker of the Dead, there is the crux of it is that there has been a second alien race discovered, an alien race other than the buggers. I think these are the piggies. Yeah, and I think they're called the piggies in Speaker of the Dead. And Ender, when he learns about this, he decides to like investigate and find out what's going on, because he doesn't want there to be another Xenocide, like how he doesn't want what happened to the buggers to be again repeated upon the universe. He doesn't want that to happen again. So that's what Speaker of the Dead is about. I know a lot of people, including me, really love Ender's Game and don't really like Speaker of the Dead. A lot of people find Speaker of the Dead to be a weak book. At the time when I read Speaker of the Dead, I remember really liking it. I didn't like it as much as Ender's Game, but I thought Speaker of the Dead was a really solid book. So I'm excited to reread that. Before I move on to the next book, as far as the Ender's Game's books go, I know I read, obviously I've read Ender's Game, I've read Speaker of the Dead. I can't remember how far I got. I'm pretty sure I read Xenocide, but I don't know if I finished it or not. Like, I can't remember if I finished Xenocide and Speaker of the Mind. It's been like 10 years for me, so I don't remember if I've actually read and finished those ones or not. If I didn't finish Xenocide, sorry, I know I at least got really far into it. But moving on from there, next up we have Red Rising by Pierce Brown. I'm like looking at the camera, and I can tell that like I'm pretty sure the color is just going to be completely off in this video. Because like, to me, I'm like looking and it's like, man, that book cover looks orange. It's like red, but well, I mean, I think we're just going to have to rock with it for this video. And I'll try to fix it for next time. But so Red Rising is a space ape. Oh, let me start over. Red Rising is a space opera sci-fi story. It takes place in our solar system. It's like hundreds or thousands of years in the future, where humanity has moved to Mars, and they basically like terraformed the planet to make it, you know, livable for human civilization. And humanity is like separated into these different, has like a caste system structure, and these caste system structures are identified by different colors. So at the pinnacle, at the top, are the golds, and at the very bottom are the reds, and in between there's a bunch of different other colors like blues, blacks, and greens and yellows, and so on. And our main character, Darrow, is one of the reds, and the reds basically, they live underground, and they're like, I think they were like miners or something like that, and they are like, you know, they are just basically treated as like workers in like a slave class, because they believe, the Reds have been told and believe that they're working to help finish like the terraforming of Mars. That the work that they're doing is like for the good of humanity, and like, you know, they're working to help progress the terraformation of Mars. Where humanity lives, and like, you know, once the work is complete, they'll be like freed. You know, like there's like you know, they believe that there's light at the end of the tunnel, but it turns out that the terraformation of Mars has been complete for like centuries, and like the golds and the other colors have basically been taking advantage of the Reds' continued work. You know, just because they have no interest in rising them above their current station. And after Darrow suffers a tragedy, he basically gets recruited to be made into a gold, and to kind of like rise up into like the golden society and kind of like take it down from within. Because not only are the different castes of the civilization separated by the color, they're also kind of like organically different. Like the golds have like a different like musculature and like different bodies. They're like kind of like made more perfect than the other classes. So like Darrow kind of has like his body like kind of like surgically remade into a gold, and he goes undercover and into like the golden kind of like, before like the golds are accepted into like the adult society of golds, they go through like basically a battle royale like kind of training camp where a lot of them like fight to the death. So Red Rising, another reread for me, is kind of like a like kind of like battle royale, Hunger Games ish style story, at least in the first book. The rest of the novels aren't like that. I've only read the first book, Red Rising, in this series. When I read it, I thought it was okay, because at the time, this was like after I got out of high school, so it was like around the time that Red Rising actually came out, because I think Red Rising came out in 2016, and I think it was around that time, and I was looking for more adult like fantasy and sci-fi stuff, and so I think I just Googled up one day. I was like, what's the most like popular fantasy and sci-fi novels? And at the time, whatever list I was looking at, the sci-fi novel that they said was the most popular was Red Rising, and the most popular fantasy novel they said was Name of the Wind. So I got both of those books. Red Rising, I finished it and I thought it was okay, and I never ended up continuing on with the series. And then Name of the Wind, which is not in this video, but Name of the Wind I thought was boring as hell. So I think between those two books, it kind of like put me off of reading for a long time, until like, basically until like the making of this channel is when I kind of like really got back into reading in a bigger way. So I am interested in like rereading Red Rising and potentially continue on with the series, because I hear after Red Rising, the books get like exponentially better. Like Pierce Brown becomes like a far better writing after this first book, and I even at the time I didn't think this book, Red Rising, I never thought it was bad. I just thought it was okay. It was an alright time, but I want to reread it and go from there. Then next up, I just got this book earlier today. It just came. I just got it. It arrived after finishing Blood of Elves. Is Time of was it? Yeah, The Time of Contempt by Andrzej Sapkowski. This is the 4th Witcher book, picking up right after Blood of Elves, and I'm not gonna really go into it because if you haven't read Blood of Elves, this is like anything I say would be pretty much just spoilers, considering it's 4 books deep. But, you know, more, I'm assuming it's going to be, based on the book cover, you know, I'm assuming it's going to be very, like, Yennefer and Ciri focus. Because, not like the last book wasn't already very Ciri focused. But yeah, so I'm excited to read that. So, those are my, hold on, let me get these together. Those are my 5 books that I plan to read in April. So, Light of the Jedi, Force Collector, Speaker for the Dead, yeah, there we go, Red Rising, and The Time of Contempt. So, I'd like to get all 5 of these read by the end of April. Now, if I end up DNFing some of these, I will you know, move something else on my overall TBR up into its place. So regardless, I still plan on trying to get you guys 5 books read and reviewed here in April. That would be my goal. I'd like that to happen. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, at the moment, that's what I'm planning on reading. So again, if this video is still turns out completely orange, I do apologize for that. I'll try to have this figured out and fixed for the next video. Because I haven't done anything with my lighting. It's just, for some reason, the camera is wanting to portray everything in like a more orange tint. So I don't know if I accidentally pressed something, if I accidentally changed something in the settings, or if it's just like one of those things where your technology doesn't want to cooperate with you. Because we've all been there. But let me know if you would like this format more. This more like kind of like a monthly video format where it's like, you know, an April TBR video at the beginning of the month and then like a wrap-up video at the end of the month, or you would rather I still do like the weekly videos. Because even outside of that, I still plan to have the reviews every week. I still want to do weekly reviews, but I'm just talking about like kind of like the weekly like check-in what I'm reading videos. So let me know what kind of format you would prefer. I think the monthly videos make more sense. That, you know, you get a bigger picture of like what all is happening. It's like less bloat in your subscription feeds. I know I only put out like 2 videos a week, but still, I think this will be I think personally, I think this will work better for everybody. But, you know, if you disagree, let me know. So until next time, if you could like the video and subscribe to the channel, and have a good day.